Conflicting land values around the global transportation hub dominated the news, and now the same problem is surfacing along the Regina Bypass route. We'll show you why some landowners are feeling optimistic and others let down by the government.
They did the same thing to me over that intermodal. I had a quarter of land over there, that intermodal. And they sent a fellow out here, a land appraiser. And he says, I got somebody interested in your land over there for the intermodal.
It is easy money to wager that we are going to get a steady diet of the Regina Bypass land deal.
One of the most contentious issues surrounding the bypass project is the land.
We have a GTH land scandal that's under investigation. If your government and the Premier can't trust Saskatchewan people with the facts, how can Saskatchewan people trust him to lead the province?
Bypass, it cuts through the city, and so the big questions around land deals, and some really sketchy land deals that you personally signed off on.
James's land has been expropriated 3 separate times. First along the global transportation hub, then where his home is currently in Regina's southeast end, and now along the bypass on highway number 33, where he plans on moving his home.
The expropriation is the same as what they've done over there, and I know full well now that this is going to go to court, because I wrote them a letter, and they sent me a check already for $20,000 an acre they want to give me for that over there, and land is selling for $100,000. So they're trying to steal the land, the same thing as what they did over there to me in intermodal.
Gertrude Frank's land along the south portion of the bypass on highway number 6 was expropriated in 2014. She requested that her son Harry tell the story for her, so we met up with him at his home a few kilometers down from Gertrude's property.
We couldn't get any direct answers from the government, and that was the major problem of it. Anybody you called, they would send out the construction guys to answer questions, and all they would say is, oh, I don't know. I don't have that authority. They appraised it, and they offered us, because it was agricultural land, $5,700 an acre.
Harry was offered double the price of what his first appraisal was for a parcel of land that ran through his property.
A road nowhere. A little strip of land through our land is owned by the city of Regina. So between the highway and that was a little section of our land. And then they turned around and offered us $11,000 per acre for that land. Okay, how can it almost like double in price just because it's, that's already expropriated?
Well, like I said, developers pay anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000, and the government has offered me $20,000. So, what a disaster! I can't replace this property. It's impossible for $20,000. This close to the city. How can I replace it when land is going for $100,000 and the government's only giving me $20,000? And I'm not the only farmer that's got the same problem. Don't forget, I've lived here since 1972. This is home. So I was willing to move my house over there, and then they don't even want to give me access. And I had to fight for that. So I don't know. I don't think these people know what the hell they're doing. And they're not listening to the people. People should know what this government is doing here. He's disrupting everybody's life. Could care less. They've never had, sure they had open meetings for all the owners, but they never listened to anything.
And here we're going to have highway frontage on 2 sides, and our land isn't worth anything. It was the discrepancies in the land prices.
To get a better idea of how land values are assessed, we spoke with Robin Johnson from Crown Appraisals. He's worked on expropriated appraisals for the Ministry of Highways.
The appraising property is not an exact science. There are many variables, and each appraiser has their own, I guess, their own opinion of value. and they would put more weight on some factors more than others. And that's why you'll see two appraisers being used as expert witnesses in court, because they're appraising the same property, but they have two separate values.
Kevin Tell, CEO of Cindercrete Products, has owned land on Highway 1 since the 1990s. His sister is Christine Tell, MLA of Regina Wascana Plains, the constituency where his land is. He wasn't expropriated, but he's also had to work around plans for the bypass.
We tried to maximize our developable property, and they understood that, and we ultimately we came to an agreement, and I think that we're happy. Highways is happy. We are in the value-added real estate business. We thought it was a good, potentially a good real estate play. It gives us a little more potential, not so much clout, but just a little bit more skin in the game when we're dealing with the RM on developing our this property and now ultimately that property.
The thing was, we had submitted proposals for years to try and be able to develop our land, and we were always shot down by the provincial government. They said, nope, nope, nope. But the government said there's no more switching of land, like from agriculture to commercial or anything like that. And he said they're going to let us know in 6 months. Well, about 8 to 12 months later, we found out that's because there's a highway coming through. Like I said, we're not in the way of progress. We're not sorry we lost the land. It's just that we didn't get a fair market value, and that's what's really making us angry.
Look at similar parcels of land that are sold and come up with our value. Once the bypass is built, once it's announced and built, it will have an impact on land values, because speculators are probably in buying land and trying to make a profit as development progresses once the bypass is completed. Good appraisers should not be more than 10% apart in their values most of the time, because we all look at the same factors that affect land values, and a good appraiser should take all of those into consideration.
We got 5,700 for agricultural land. On the east end, people have gotten over $100,000 for agricultural land. Okay, if it's agricultural land, that's agricultural land. And then they say, oh, it's the approximation to the city and things like that. Well, we're fairly close to the city. We have highway frontage. Shouldn't our land be worth a little bit more too?
We recognize that we should be part of the solution. It was only to our benefit to see this process actually, step through and actually work itself out. All the hype about that it wasn't far enough further east and all these different things, and really what a lot of people didn't quite understand is that the beside Tower Road, still west of the railroad tracks, was really one of the only options they had.
Things that could have been done with the bypass, why put it out this far, and then on the east end go right against the city? Well, that's not a bypass anymore. It's a ring road.